How you guys doing? What's happening, guys? Welcome in. My name is, as always, Dave Major, and this week's lesson is a little bit different. We're going to be talking about motivation, how to find it, how to keep it, and how to keep going despite every single thing that's going on in the world at any one point, not just this year, but at any point. So let's dive in. This isn't going to be like a 5 tips thing, like 5 tips for motivation. This is going to be just me talking about a question that I got from a student. We had a lesson last week, and he asked, how do you stay motivated? And it got me thinking, and I gave my answer in the lesson, and I've been thinking and sort of percolating that question over the week, and I've come up with a few things that I think will definitely help him and you guys out there. Because to be honest, motivation is really hard to keep, especially at the moment. You know, we're about to head into second lockdowns, third lockdowns. There are no gigs, there's no real sessions, you can't even rehearse with your bands, so there's just no real need or desire to play music. And before we start, I'm going to say that's okay. Like, life finds a way of messing stuff up, and you know, this year is just one of those times, really. I'm sure that, like a lot of you, you were super motivated at the start of lockdown. You're like, great, I'm going to practice 6 hours a day, I've got no work to go to, I've got no college, I've got no school. And after a while that peters out because there's no end goal, I guess. So I just want to say that it's okay to be unmotivated. It's okay to take a break. It's okay for that break to be a day, a week, a month. It can be a year. After I graduated from college, I took an entire year out of playing music, drumming at all. Like, I was not enjoying music, being a musician, anything like that. So I took a break for an entire year and I just worked. I sort of disconnected from music. And I felt that brought that fire back. So sometimes a break is really good. The motivation comes and goes. It comes in waves and you feel super juiced to get better at the drums and practice loads, and then it dies down just as quickly. The real trick is how to keep that going. And what I've found is that often students have the wrong motivation to be motivated. There's a couple of books that I'm going to really recommend straight away that really defined a lot of stuff for me and really helped me, and I revisit them. And they are Simon Sinek's Start With Why, and then Daniel Pink's Drive. Now I'll start with the latter, Daniel Pink's Drive. Crux of the book boils down to why people do stuff, and the book kind of tells you that if you have an intrinsic motivator, an internal motivation to do something, that is going to yield better results than an external motivator. Now, often I find students have an external motivator. Potentially that could be that they want to pass an exam. Maybe it's that they want to learn certain songs. Maybe it's that they want to, in the UK, get their grades. The problem with that is that once that goes, once the exam is finished, once you've learnt the song, once you've passed your grade, what comes next? That's a motivation to achieve something, not a desire to get better because that's what you want to do. So in my early 20s, I was a professional drummer. I still am, but I was classing myself as a professional drummer. So I was going out looking for gigs, looking for students, looking for sessions, wherever they were, looking to do as many opportunities as possible. And my motivation at that point came from needing to not work a normal job. I needed to make myself viable as a business. So my motivation to practice was simply to allow myself to pay my bills. I found that worked for me. That allowed me to keep that single goal of the better I am, the better opportunities I get, the longer this career will go on. And that kept me going for about 5, 6, 7 years. After that, I started doing YouTube. And the motivation there was to understand what my heroes and the people I was transcribing, what they were creating. And that was a motivation just to get better at the drums, to be like them, to come up with their ideas, to be able to execute those ideas on camera fluently as best as I could. And that really, really kept me going. When I was doing those sort of big streams of other people's videos, as it were, or other people's lick videos, we would do 3 or 4 filming sessions per year, and I would practice in between those licks, but I would transcribe them, I would work on stuff to allow me to execute the ideas within them and create my own. All of that helped shape my current teaching and playing philosophy. So my motivation now is to be a better teacher, to make better videos, to learn how to deliver information better and reach a wider audience. And all those motivations come not from numbers of people that watch my videos, not from how many licks I can, or how fast I can play, or how many gigs I got. but because my desire was to keep doing this thing, because I love playing the drums. And your internal motivator can be as simple as just loving playing the drums. The second book I talked about is Start With Why. I think that's a really important thing to understand when you lose motivation, is to actually remember your why. Why did you start playing the drums? Why do you want to practice the drums? Why would you want to practice the drums? What kind of drummer do you want to be? And practice with that goal in mind of being the drummer that you want to be. Not what Instagram tells you to be, not what YouTube or even your teacher tells you to be, but the drummer that you want to be. Now that's all very well and good me saying that, but what happens if you've lost your motivation and you're trying to sort of kick-start your way back in? You've worked out your why, you've found your sort of internal motivation to keep going. Well, I would say start small. Create a habit every day of 10 to 15 minutes of practice. Now that practice should be things you can't do. It shouldn't be self-medicating licks that make you feel better. It should be stuff you can't do. And it should be trackable. So speed of rudiments, hand builder exercises, learning transcriptions, or learning how to play a new style, working through a workbook. All of those are trackable things. You can look back a year later and see the progress that you've made, which will in turn motivate you to keep making progress. On top of that, I really want to emphasize the point that you should be an individual. There are so many amazing drummers out there that you cannot compete with other drummers. You should be the best version of yourself because there can only ever be one version of you. So hope you found this video useful, helpful, inspiring, motivating. If you are struggling with your motivation, please just know that you're not alone. It's the worst time that I can remember for every single human on the planet, and every single drummer is going to be feeling the exact same. So I'll link those books below in case you want to check them out. I found them very useful and I'm sure you'll find them useful as well. But until next time guys, I will see you soon. Take care.